Some helpful tools for the job. This manual says 78. It's got a nice wiring diagram in it. I'll have a link for a diagram. And you'll need one if you're going to get into the wiring at all. You'll see there's a lot to it, and there's not a logic, and sometimes there's like some things that are general rules, but they break them all the time. I also use this for all the labels. Let me go through here and start exploring. This is an invaluable tool if you're doing any electrical work at all whatsoever. Get yourself a multimeter and learn how to use it. The main thing we use for testing this harness and figuring out what things were is this little guy. That's your ohms, and we set to 2K. Well, I set to 2K. Some other stuff that's handy for this sort of thing. These things are gross after however many years, 40 years, something, I don't know. Can't do math. But you need to get into the harness a little bit. Some of these wires, you'll see, are really faded or gross, and you can't see what color they are unless you take the wiring off. So some acetone and a rag is very helpful too. And then last but probably least is some clippers to get rid of any zip ties you find. I actually left a few. This harness is from a 77, and it has been on a truck since then. I have it in the general layout of the truck, and we can go explore it. I'm going to get some stuff out of the way, and then we'll do a tour of the 1977 Datsun 620 wiring harness. Alright, so we're going to follow this around. This is you're in the engine bay. We're going to do an overview here first, I should say. So we're in the engine bay, coming around, across the radiator core support, over behind the battery, down the fender well, across the relay center, through the firewall, and then we're going to go under the dash. And then from there you go back under the seat, through the floor, and then out to the back. So we'll end up in the back of the truck, and let's get going. So over here in the engine bay, you have few engine things. You have a black with the blue wire that goes to your distributor. You have this wire. It goes to your thermal transmitter, which is your temperature sensor. And the next wire we'll look at is this one, and it goes to the BCDD cut solenoid. This goes to your carb. It's the deceleration device, so when you let off the gas it doesn't do something. Then we have your AC heater, which is basically that turns on your air compressor for your AC unit. And then you have your fuel cut solenoid, which is basically your idle solenoid on your carburetor. And it comes back over to the harness, and then you have your ignition lead side. This goes to your coil. This goes to the condenser. You got a black with a red and a black. your black with white, which is your main ignition on wire. You'll see that a lot. Black with red, that is your, I believe that's your sense wire that the thing is on. And that wire that goes to the distributor is your signal. And then we'll come back here and you have green, that's your horn. And come around. This is a test port, it's just capped. If somebody knows what that's for, that'd be great. And then you have running lights. Your lights typically, your all the way always on lights are like a red wire mostly. And then the other part of that is green. Some of them are green for the back and stuff. You'll see that as we go through here. This is for the blinker. As you can see, there's some green and red, and black, that's your ground. And then this is your high beam, or your low beam, high beam. It's got 3 wires, a red with a white, and a red with a black. Red with black is your low beam. Red with white is your high beam. This one's the high beam plug. And it's got the red with white and a ground. And that is that section. Now we'll move over to the other side of the engine bay, where we get to the other side of the radiator. We have your other high beam, again red with white and a black. And then this is your main chassis ground. This connects to the firewall, or the core support. So that's your main ground to the body. And you come back around, and now we get into some green. This is a running light. You can see this harness has seen some days. As we get through this harness, you'll see a whole lot more sends. But that's red there. So the front lights are red. We'll come around, and then now we're at the headlight, the other side of the truck, the right side of the truck, sorry. Again, you got a red and white, a red and black, and the ground. And then your blinkers, you got green with black, and then black. Now we'll move back to the next section, which gets to be a bit of a mess. So just real quick, you'll have your horn relay. This is green. You got green and white, a light green, and just a regular old green. And then your headlight relay, that's all red. So there's your red and white, and your red and black, and the various other red wires that control things. I think the red and yellow is your switch. But I'm not going to get into that in this video. We'll move back over to this mess of things. And we have your main ground. You'll notice this is black. And then your main fusible link. You'll notice this is also black. So what you want to do to verify things here. Okay, remember we wanted to put this on ohms. And then we're going to put this in the ground. See how well I can do this with one. Actually, what we'll do is we'll put this over here on the chassis ground. Remember the chassis ground we just looked at? We're going to put that on there. And then we're going to put this on this wire. And that should light up. No, it's not. There we go. Get some contact over there. So that's how we can tell that's the ground. We got continuity between this wire and our chassis ground right there. And that's how you make sure one wire is connected to the other end. So we have another ground here, and then, like I said, this is your fusible link. Again, some more sends. This harness is toast. You can't run it, but anyway, fusible link. This plug is for your voltage regulator. I show in another video how you can bypass this with the other end of this plug, but you can see the different colored wires there, mostly whites. And then from there we have these red and black and another red. So these go down to your transmission, and that's for your reverse light switch. That's a long one, you can see it going all the way down there. And then you have your alternator switch connector. So this alternator connector has been melted down at one point in its life, and the main alternator wire, it's cut now, but at some point it was probably a mess all the way down to the alternator lug for the main power. But this would have ran through this plug, through that crispy hole, and went down through here. Now you have your ground for your alternator, and then your start. This is your main start wire for your starter. It's black with yellow. Then you have your oil sender, yellow with black, and then this plug goes to the back of the alternator and connects back to the voltage regulator. You can see that white with black is back over here. And there's that white with black. Again, you can test that with the multimeter, but you can trust me or test it yourself. Let's move over. Oh. The next portion is a couple more relays and your mileage counter. A lot of guys detector drive counter is what it's called. I'm going to try and post pictures of whatever these are for in the wiring diagram of what it looks like in the wiring diagram, so you can cross-reference that. But yeah, you don't necessarily need this if you're anybody. This one is the AC heater relay, so that works for the heater and the relay, or the heater and the AC if you have AC. And then you have your engine room light. This connects to a light bulb and a little fitting, and the fitting goes up and down and grounds out and lights the bulb. I'm not going to get into that either. We're just doing harness today. This one is for your windshield washer fluid pump. There's some darker blue with red, and I don't know, I can't tell what that is, but that is this plug. We're going to go up, and then over here we got this is the fusible link. This comes through here, like right there. It goes through the firewall, and this is the fusible link. You can tell it's a mess. Again, this harness is toast, but this goes back to the positive post on the battery and is your main power for the entire truck. Okay, so this wire runs all of the harness. It's the only one. So be aware. Okay, so now we're gonna move back, and this goes to your room lamp and your cigarette lighter and your clock and your tack. And now there's a fuse in here. I'll show you this one in a minute, but there's a fuse in here. This wire is just connected to this one, like these are connected right here. this one, and that one. So again, this is your main power, only power. All right, gonna carry on. We got the black with yellow, and there's your fuse in there. Again, these are up under the dash, on the passenger footwell, or the right side of the truck footwell. And then this one is for a bunch of stuff. It's for your start, drive counter, inhibitor, or floor sensor. So basically, when you hit the start button, this is being powered by that. So when you turn your starter on, that's this juice. So we'll get into that connector in a minute. We're going to go ahead and continue on to the dash, the rest of the dash, because that's where we're at. Okay, so as it comes down the kick panel there, you got a wire. This goes to the room lamp. That's your dome light switch at your door. So that's what that's for. And we're going to go over here a little bit further. We got your heater, or your wiper motor, excuse me. There's some blue with red, blue with white, yellow and black, and another blue. And then this little plug, if you have it, is for AC. There used to be a plug on here. I don't know what happened, but this is the AC harness. That's what you get. That's what I got. So, all right, so we're gonna carry on underneath the dash across to the heater controls. So this is your heater control light. There'd be a bulb in here, and that is what illuminates behind the little heater panel. And there's another one somewhere, we'll get to it. So this is a timer unit for your wipers. So that's like your high and low. Probably should look right at that. Again, that's the timer unit for your wipers. And this is, I believe it's the door buzzer. I don't know, something must buzz. Nothing ever buzzed in my cars. Maybe it did, I don't remember. But that's a buzzer. All right, and then back over here to this sprue here. And we got an AC lamp. I'm assuming that illuminates your AC. Here's another heater control illumination. That's just another bulb. Again, some more sends there. I don't know. This is your heater motor, so your fan. That's your blower fan motor. And then here's your switch for your heater. And that goes up to the dash. We'll see that wire at the other end of it in a minute. Let's go back over here. We talked about those guys. All right, we got, what is this? Seatbelt warning lamp. Black, yellow, or sorry, that's not black at all. Well, those are black, but this is red with yellow and red with blue. Seatbelt warning lamp. Okay, here's your heater switch. It's that wire we just saw over there. And we're gonna come over a bit. This blue with white is your cigarette lighter. Then we have your windshield wiper switch. Some blues and a yellow. And then we have this dash to ignition module. Not really sure about that. It just kind of, yeah, I'm not really sure. Somebody can tell us. Then you have your wiper light and your headlight switch illumination. This is for the fiber optic power for the light, for the pull switches. Then we have Your BCDD to dash. I don't know what this does. I'm just gonna show it to you. There it is. Okay, and then we have another light. This goes behind something in the dash. This is more like that other one over there. I think this is the other one behind the heater control. Could be to something behind the dash though. Alright, now we have this little harness over here. And it comes out to your flasher relay. It's this guy. I don't know if you can make out those numbers. You have your handbrake switch. So when you pull your handbrake, the brake light lights up. And then you have your radio power. And then you have your instrument control rheostat. This is your dimmer for your lights in the dash. Although I don't know why you need a dimmer. You can't see them anyway. Alright, we're going to scooch back over here. This big old plug. This goes to the dash insert. This is all your gauges. Yeah, everything. Well, besides the other stuff that's not there. Then we're going to come over a bit. And then we have your clock. That's the clock plug. You got your red and blue and red and black. This is also for the tack. Okay, we talked about the mess. I would like to hope I didn't do that. I'm pretty sure I didn't do that. Somebody did that though. Don't do that. Okay, we're gonna go back over here. And we got the hazard switch. This is in your steering column. So is your ignition switch, by the way. But this is for your hazards. And you got some greens, some light greens. And then this also goes to your hazard. And then you have your turn signal. You can see that one's got a red in there. So that's how you can tell that one is that one. And then let's go over here, and we got a check connector. So I'm not sure what you check with this connector, but it's a check connector. So yeah. And this goes to your turn signals as well, this blue guy. I think that these are your main powers for each one of those, I think. And then finally your horn here. That's the light green one. And back to the main harness, past our little tack switch or tack connector. I'm gonna head over here. We got our headlight switch. It's just got some reds and some greens with blue. Basically controls the relay over there so that it turns on your lights. And then we have our hazard relay. That's the little round guy here. And then the other room lamp wire. So one goes to the switch and the other one goes to your dome light. It goes up the A-pillar through a long wire up to the back of the cab. And then from there we're over to the fuse box. So this is the fuse box connector. Again, yeah, there's other ways. There's like this check connector could be used to power something. There's only that one wire. This one wire is the same wire over there. This is all that powers your fuse box. Even your ignition side is powered by this wire. So you basically have your fusible link comes in, powers this. This has full power all the time from the battery, and it runs your horn, your hazards, your brake lights, and all that. And then you have this red here. That is your headlights. And then this green one here, it's green with blue, and that goes to your tail lights, or your parking lights rather. It runs all your parking lights. And then over here you have your ignition side, your fuse box. Black with white wire powers that. And you have your meter. I'm not sure what it meters. I think it's all your gauges and stuff, but that's a blue with black. Then you have your wipers and heaters and stuff, and that's blue with red. And then your charging system is the blue with white. So that is your fuse box, and that's the under dash section. Back up here. And go back over here to the main under dash connection of the cab. Again, this is all under your dash on the left side of the truck. And we're going to go back. So we got this black with white wire again. This runs your fuel pump. If you have an electric fuel pump, this truck did not have one. You'll see that in a minute. But it just is this one wire like added in. And we'll go back and follow around. So we'll get to here. So this wire here, this wire here is for your seatbelt switch. It turns off that fasten seatbelt light. And then here's your fuel pump again. You'll notice there's no, so it goes in there, but it does not come out here. So there was no fuel pump on this. It was on the engine. And then this is the ground for your electric fuel pump. You can see they just factory taped it up. There was some other blue tape on here where they did that sort of thing, but it's gone now. Anyway, now we're going to move down. This is where we come through the cab underneath the truck, and we go out, run to the back, near the back of the truck, and then we get to our tank sending unit. It says tank unit gauge. That's what the wiring diagram calls it. That's for your fuel gauge. And then we follow back the rest of the way to the back of the truck, and we get tail lights. And so that's your, your brake light, your reverse light, and your turn signals. You got your running lights out the side of the cab. And then in the middle here, got your license plate light, and then one more tail light, and then finally your running light on the side of the bed with no connector, because again, this whole harness looked like this and was a mess. But that's the tour. I hope you liked it. I hope it helps make some sense of the mess that's under your dashboard / hood. Hopefully that makes some sense of some of those wires that are taped up and stashed underneath your Weber. Yeah, enjoy. Talk to you next time.